Gene Deckeroff joins the show. Gene, Paul Chestnut, thank you for your time. How you doing today?
Paul, I'm doing real good. I'm in Tampa, and walkthrough today was, well, to be honest with you, Paul, the first time I've seen a walkthrough by a football team, either college or pro, in my life. There's not a whole lot to see. The coaches get more out of it than we do, but we had a chance after the walkthrough at Advent Health Center, One Buccaneer Place in Tampa, to sit down with Coach Todd Bowles and also brand new offensive coordinator Dave Canales, and learn a little bit more about this football team. You know, under the radar football team, the first season without Tom Brady in the last 3 years, and national media not giving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a lot of love. But golly, from what I'm seeing down here in 2 days of watching the team work out and the walkthrough today, I'm excited about the prospects of the Buccaneers defending the NFC South Championship. You know, we've won it 2 years in a row. We've never won it 3 years in a row. And we've got a chance to do that this year. We've been to the playoffs 3 times straight, and a chance to go 4 in a row. And all you got to do is win your division and have a winning record. You have a chance to make it to the playoffs. And so, hey, but you know what? There are 32 radio play-by-play voices for NFL teams right now that feel like we're going to the Super Bowl. We'll wait and see how that plays out. But no, it's great. Tomorrow night, you mentioned Tampa Bay versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, I always look forward to seeing Mike Tomlin. We played Pittsburgh last year and stubbed our toe. We lost 20-18. Probably should have never lost that game, but we did. And not having to broadcast the Florida State game on Saturday and then fly, first thing on Sunday morning at dark 30 on Sunday morning and hope that the plane gets you there on time. I had a chance in the hotel room to watch. I was surfing through there, and I saw on the guide a Pittsburgh Steelers TV show, and it was the Mike Tomlin show. And I had a chance to watch Mike. He was the defensive backs coach. Some of your listeners may have seen him. Well, I don't know. He was not there on the presentation, but Mike Tomlin visited with Rondé Barber. Rondé Barber's first coach with the Buccaneers was Mike Tomlin. So it's sort of a reunion. Tomlin's in his 17th year as the head coach of the Steelers, and he has not had a losing season. Yeah, they had to win 6 of the last 7 last year to avoid a losing season. But I digress. Yeah, Buccaneer football is the real deal. Todd Bowles, I think, is more comfortable now. It's his second year. Remember last year, he was not the head coach of the Buccaneers until about late February, it was late March, when Tom Brady announced he was coming out of retirement, and Bruce Arians announced he was retiring. And that's when Todd was promoted to head coach. And yeah, I see a lot more. I'm looking for a word, continuity. I know confidence in the coaches. I know we got a new quarterback, but hey, Paul, that's the way the game is. You know, you lose the GOAT, but we got 3 GOATs. When I say 3 GOATs, greater opportunity after Tom. GOAT. You got
bad.
3 guys vying for that starting championship, starting quarterback job. You know.
Not bad there with the GOAT there. You've been doing some thinking there. That's pretty good.
Paul, I wake up in the middle of the night and come up with these. It's like when Rob Gronkowski came out of retirement, came down and played when he made a big play. Holy Gronkamole, you know. I mean,
yeah.
We got to work with words. We're in the word business.
Well, Jim, what do you think life is going to be here for the Tampa Bay Bucs without Tom Brady? What do you think of these 2 quarterbacks? You go from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield or Cal Trask right now.
Yeah, well, Kyle and Baker are going to exchange starting positions tomorrow night. It will be Baker Mayfield. The following week, it'll be Kyle Trask versus Aaron Rodgers. Kyle will start next week. All 3 quarterbacks are going to play. The 3rd quarterback on the Bucs roster is John Wolford. For fans of ACC football, John Wolford was a 4-year starter for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, and a good one at that. I think he took them to 4 straight bowl games. Not sure about that, Bio. But Dave Canales, who is the new offensive coordinator, young guy, great interview we had with our production meeting today with Dave. But he says that the thing that John Wolford brings to this quarterback room is the fact that he has been in this offense for 4 years, the one that we're installing with the Bucs, because of his work with the LA Rams. They ran the same offense. So he's been able to help Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield absorb what this new offense is all about. And it's more complicated than it looks on television. But Dave is very, very satisfied this team is ready to go. A new offense. And Todd Bowles is ready. I think Todd Bowles' defense is going to be outstanding. I think right now, my opinion is Baker Mayfield will be the starting quarterback in Game 1 against the Minnesota Vikings on September the 11th. But Kyle is really pushing. This is his third year, I guess. He's only taken snaps in one game in his career because he was behind Tom Brady. And that was last year in the Atlanta Falcons game, last game of the season, when none of the starters played. And he was – you don't want to be a quarterback in the NFL when you're playing against the other team's first-team defense and you got third-team offensive linemen. It was a tough outing. But, head coach Todd Bowles and offensive coordinator Dave Canales think that Kyle Trask has got a great future ahead of it. Could it be this year? We will find out. But he has taken huge leaps, according to the head coach, as far as quarterbacking of the National Football League goes since last year.
Well, Gene, I know it's still way too early. I mean, here we are on the eve of the first preseason game for the Tampa Bay Bucs against the Steelers, but they got the veterans. There's no Tom Brady, but there's still some nice veterans there: Mike Evans, Levante David, Devin White, Chris Godwin. What's your feeling? What are your thoughts? I mean, can they got the talent to do it again here to win the division?
Yeah, Coach Bowles today told Chris Myers, by the way, and Ronnie Barber are doing the TV, and I believe the game will be televised in the Pensacola market. Yeah. I'm not sure. I know you're going to carry our broadcast on your station in Pensacola, but anyway, it was a TV production meeting. But we're as radio guys. I was invited to come in and listen, but. Coach Bowles thinks his defense has really, really improved. It's gotten faster. It's gotten stronger up front. He loves what he's seeing. He's not going to play tomorrow night, may not play in the preseason, but first-round draft pick, Khalija Cansey out of Pittsburgh. They think he is the real deal and was making wild plays when he was available. And he came up with a calf injury about 4 days ago, and so they're going to nurse that along, and he will not play in the preseason, we were told. They're not going to play tomorrow night. But Logan Hall was the first pick for the Bucs last year. We traded the first-round pick, moved back in the draft, and it was the first pick of the second round was Logan Hall. And he was a little smaller than he is now. He's put on weight. He's gained strength. And Coach is just absolutely excited to see him play under the lights, is what he said. And so we'll see how they do. And Vita Vea, I mean, never let Vita Vea step on your toe. He's 350 pounds, and you'll be without toes. And there's some the linebacker. You mentioned Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but remember we lose Antonio Brown. Well, he left. He got lost. Okay, he left the team. And think about this: the touchdowns he caught against Kansas City were huge in the Super Bowl 55. And without him, we stub our toe against the LA Rams in the divisional. But Russell Gage had a tremendous first couple of years with Atlanta. In fact, his career, like 14 catches against the Bucs for about 150 yards in one game against the Atlanta Falcons. And we signed him to a deal, free agent deal, and he has hamstring problems the entire season. He missed more games than he played. But he's healthy now, and he's ready to go. And so I think you add Russell Gage into the mix. You got three really good wide receivers, a lot of options and a lot of weapons for whoever the quarterback is, would be a Kyle or a Baker, to get the ball to. And this offense is going to be a pass-oriented offense. But one thing the Bucs want to do is we were last in the league in rushing touchdowns. We had just 5 last year. I don't think we had but maybe one 100-yard rushing game out of that was Rashad when we played in Munich against Seattle, Rashad White. Lenny Fournette probably didn't really have the season we were hoping he would. Now he's a free agent still looking for work. But the run game is an emphasis during preseason camp. They want to run the ball more effectively, and you got to if you want to win football games. But I think you'll see the combination. I'm excited. The defense is going to be all over the football field. Ronde Barber, in the production meeting before Coach Bowles came in, he says, you know what? We got a chance to be very, very good. That's from a Hall of Famer, by the way.
Yeah. What was it like for you last weekend? You're calling his games, and there you see Ronde Barber going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, another member of the Tampa Bay Bucs for yourself.
Well, we have 6 members enshrined with their busts enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and Leroy Selman was the very first. And I did not broadcast the games, obviously, when Leroy was playing, but I had a chance to meet him, and I know his wife, his family. He was athletic director at South Florida. It was shortly after I became the voice of the Buccaneers, and he'd come out to football practices. He's a Buccaneer, lifelong Buccaneer, you know. So I had a chance to rub shoulders with the great one, Leroy, and then the next five, you got to go Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Sean Lynch, Tony Dungy, and Rondé Barber. Okay, Tony, our coach, and those four players, Brooks, Sapp, Lynch, and Barber, were all on the same team at the same time. There's a reason why the Buccaneers won Super Bowl 37. That's the team that Tony Dungy built.
Gene, I want to switch gears. I want to talk some Seminoles football with you because I know you're very, very close still to the program here. And by the way, Charlie Ward was in town last Sunday night, him and his family, and I told him you were coming on the show, and he said, please tell Gene that I say hello. Please do that for me. So Charlie Ward says hello to you, Gene Deckeroff.
Charlie Ward Jr. They broke the mold when Charlie is one of he is absolutely all-time greatest guy I think I've ever had the chance to be around. You know, you think about the coaches that I have worked with, and they're two primary, and it's such an impact on not only my life and my career, but on the lives of so many others. And that's Bobby Bowden, who, by the way, passed August the 8th. I think we should all take our caps off and say a little prayer, because August the 8th was the second anniversary since Bobby passed on and went to heaven. And then Tony Dungy. I mean, two of the greatest people on this planet. And I know they're football coaches, okay? But they were more than football coaches. They are more than football coaches. They're just great human beings. And so I've had that privilege. And then Charlie Ward, you got to put Charlie. If we're doing a Mount Rushmore, are we allowed to do that nowadays? I don't know. But if you're doing one, you put Bobby and Tony up there, and you put Charlie Ward and Ward Dunn. What do you think?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. I think you nailed it right there. Let me ask you this, Gene. Last season, first year, you didn't do Florida State football, and I know it was your decision. What was that like for you?
Well, I listened to every game. Jeff Colhane, in fact, we had a long conversation yesterday. I got through with I don't know how hot it is in Pensacola, Florida, but in Tampa and Tallahassee, it's been 100 degrees.
Yeah.
The whatever this thing called heat index is, Paul, 110. It's just my Buccaneer shirt, my golf shirt that I wear, as my uniform basically. Even in shorts, it was like I had jumped in the swimming pool. It was so wet. Yeah. With sweat, and so I get a call from Jeff Colhane. He's driving down I-10 going to Jacksonville, where the Noles are practicing today, and I think they're going to practice 2 days in Jacksonville. And we're talking Florida State football and Buccaneer football and everything. But I listened to every game that I could last year on the either on radio or on the FSU app. Okay. And even when I was in Munich, Germany, Paul, I tuned in and listened to that game was a 10 o'clock game. An 8 o'clock game in Syracuse. And in Munich was 5 hours. It was, it was 8 o'clock start. The game started at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I listened to the pregame show, and then I went to bed. And you and I probably have to get up maybe once or twice in the evening. Get up and go to the bathroom. And so I get up, as I said, well, let me see what's going on in the game. And so I turn the little app on in my hotel room in Munich, Germany, and it's the fourth quarter. And I hear Jeff say, he said, the Noles lead 41-7, I think it was. And I texted Jeff. I said, hey, JC, Jeff, it's always great to wake up in the wee hours of the morning and hear the Noles are kicking Syracuse rear end, But and then driving down to Tampa on Saturdays, not having to drive down on Sunday mornings, I listen to the broadcast on the radio, and I text the crew at halftime and at the end of the game. And by the way, Mike Norvell is the real deal. For Seminole fans that are listening, there could not have been another fit to this program better than Mike Norvell. I text him after every game. He texts me back. And it's just he is, and the team this year. We ranked 5th or 6th, I think, in the coaches poll. I think we should be higher than that, but then I'm a homer. But he's got a team. We'll find out on September the 3rd exactly. Was it the 3rd? I think it's the 3rd. We're going to find out on that Sunday evening just how good a season the Seminoles are going to have. I think we beat LSU for the second time in a row. We were 2-0 last year against the SEC. Oh, did I say something wrong? 2-0 against the SEC? Did I really say that? Beat LSU and beat Florida. But, hey, Paul, back in addition to listening to the games and I was able to attend 3 games last year. Tampa Bay played Baltimore Ravens on a Thursday night. FSU played Georgia Tech that Saturday. We won. Then after the Munich trip, we had a bye week, and Florida State played Louisiana, and we won. And then that following Friday night, the first Friday night I can remember a football game being played in Tallahassee, Florida, FSU took care of business, beat Florida and Anthony Richardson, and all 3 games that I went to last year, we won. So I think Coach Norvell wants me to come to more, but I can't, Coach. I can't. I'll be out of town all but 1 game this year. It'll be October the 7th. It's Florida State versus Virginia Tech, and I'll be there with my garnet and gold cheering on, getting the war chant going.
Well, James, we were over at Saints camp. Jameis Winston spoke to the media, and I asked him, I said, what do you think of this Florida State team? Is it a breakthrough year? And he said, yes, definitely. He's bought into Mike Norvell as well. Is this team good enough to get into that college football playoff? Well,
this year it's 4 still, but then the following year they're going to expand. I believe it's 2 years from now, but I think it is. Everything I say there. When Jeff and I had lunch 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, we were talking about a lot of stuff, runners, wide receivers. You got 2 wide receivers now on the Bolitnikoff watch list. I can't remember. You may have to go back to Peter Warwick and Ron Dugans that may have been on the Bolitnikoff list, watch list at the beginning of the season, to have 2 Florida State Seminoles on that best wide receiver in college football. And you got the Copeland kid from Michigan State. You got Johnny Wilson at 6'7". I mean, these are tremendous weapons. And then you get a tight end from South Carolina, Bell. I think it's Jeremiah Bell. But the running backs, Trey Benson, he's on every watch list there is, and had a phenomenal season last year. I think he'll have 1,000 yards rushing at least. And then the quarterback. It's amazing. We played Louisville. They had the quarterback to be for the Louisville Cardinals was going to be Jordan Travis. Yeah. And he plays 1 year there on the roster, didn't play much, and he transfers to Florida State. He's a Florida kid from down around West Palm Beach County. And next thing you know, he's the starter. Then he's the starter the next year. And now coming into what will be his final year of eligibility, he will graduate Florida State 7. His final year of eligibility, he is being touted as a Heisman Trophy candidate. Yeah. So all 3 national championships won by Florida State had a Heisman Trophy quarterback. How's that sound?
That sounds I see them as a top 4. I see them as a top 4 candidate. But Gene, thank you so much for doing this. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. We'll be listening to you with the Tampa Bay Bucs. I mean, you're a legend. Thank you so much, and hopefully down the road we'll run into you.
Always great to be on the Roundtable, Paul. Always great.
Thank you.